give you some biblical illustrations here. When you go to the book of Genesis, around about the 3rd chapter of Genesis, around about verse 11, the Bible talks about Adam. Talks about when Adam ate the fruit. And God came to Adam. And God asked Adam a question. He said, Adam, he says, where are you? Adam says, I was ashamed. He says, I heard you coming. I ran and I hid myself because I was naked. That's what he told God. He says, the reason I ran from you because I was ashamed. He says, and so I ran and I hid myself because I was naked. God's response to Adam was, who told you, Adam, that you were naked? See, Adam's mindset had hit a carnal place. It had hit a fleshly place. And Adam no longer saw himself the way God saw him. He no longer looked at himself the way God looked at him. And God said, who told you that? God knew the only way for you to see yourself the way you just described yourself, you had to have visited with death. Yes. The evidence of what you just said means that death has been here. Yeah. He says, who told you, Adam? Because you never heard that from me. I never said that to you. So you've been talking to somebody else. You've been communing. You've been fellowshipping. You've been conversing with somebody. Who told you you were naked? Who told you you was not worthy? Who told you you could not stand before me anymore? Who told you that you were shameful and needed to run away and hide? Who have you been talking? That mindset is the evidence of contamination. Because that's not the mind that he gave us.
Amen.
See, unworthiness and fear and shame, these are things that are taught to us because we don't come here feeling like that. People teach us how to feel unworthy. People teach us we're not good enough. People teach us that the color of our skin is not as good as the color of somebody else's skin. People teach us and tell us that we don't deserve this and we don't deserve that. People teach us and tell us that we're not smart enough, we're not this or we're not that. All of the limitations that we live with that govern our lives, these are things that are taught to us. These are conversations that we have had in one way or another, demonstrations in one way or another that has left an impression on us and has framed our mind. And the Bible says that is carnality. It's of this world. It's not of God. It's very important. God said, I didn't give you that. So anytime you find yourself operating in that mindset, it's because death has been there. Anytime you feel fear, that's because you have been having conversations you shouldn't have been having. Okay, let me give you some more there. What do you mean by having conversations that you shouldn't have? You have been giving your attention. You have been allowing yourself to hear. You have been allowing yourself to ponder. You have been allowing yourself to communicate in things and with people that you should not have allowed yourself to communicate, to fellowship, and to commune with. And so these things leave an impression. They leave a residue, if you will. They leave a residue in your spirit. They leave a residue in your heart. And that residue is what holds you captive. That residue is what holds you in bondage. Because it builds a mindset, listen to this, that is contrary to the word of God. That's what makes it carnal. Because you're holding on to something that is against, it is hostile. It is enmity. It is enmity with God. God says, who told you that? I never told you that. I never said that. I never told you you were not good enough. I never told you that I would not heal you. I never told you that I would not. Who told you that? Why are you thinking that I might not deliver? Why are you thinking that I might not heal? Why are you thinking that this not? Maybe I want you to go through this and go through that. Why? Who told low thinking. It is the thinking of this world. Because in this world, we have the mindset that we can't get nothing unless we deserve it. Unless we deserve it. That's what we think. We think that we have to earn everything in this world. We think that if I don't work hard enough, if I don't do this or do that, then I can't get that. Okay. Most of the time, if I was to ask somebody in here, if I say, you know, okay, I use myself on example, so I don't offend nobody. If I ask, if you was to ask me, say, do you love your wife? And I say, yes, I love my wife. And then you say, well, tell me why you love my wife. Most time, or why you love your wife. Most time, when you ask someone that, why they love somebody, they begin to give you a list of qualities or things that that person do for them. The reason I love my wife is because she take care of me. She take care of my children. She's always there when we need. I begin to give you a list of all the stuff that my wife does for me, does for my children. And I'm basing, most people are going to base their love on what the person does. But that's not real love. Because if you only love because of what somebody do for you, that's not what the Bible calls love. Your love has to be stronger than what somebody does. Because what if they stop doing it? Is you gonna stop loving? You're gonna stop appreciating? You're gonna stop valuing? If your love is based on what somebody does, it's not real love. It is contaminated. It is carnal. It is of this world. I love you as long as. That is not God's love. That's carnality. It's of this world. It is not of the kingdom. And the Bible says, if you live a carnal mind, or if you live in the flesh, he says you will die. If your marriage is based on flesh love, it's going to die. Because that's not real love. Anything that's of the flesh, the Bible says, is going to die. Okay, let me read that scripture to you again. Go back to Romans. Go back to Romans, the 8th chapter. Verse number 6 says, to be carnally minded is death. To be carnally minded, to be carnal minded. Listen to this. If your mindset is based on this world as a Christian, that's death to you. Because not only is, okay, I told you about how the carnal mind is connected to death in the way that anytime somebody's carnal in their thinking, it is the evidence that that person has entertained death. Or when I say death, I'm talking about the fallen nature. They have entertained that broken nature, that broken spirit. Anytime carnality is abiding or left in a place, it is because someone has entertained a fallen, broken spirit. And that evidence, or what the residue of that thing, is to always leave carnality. To always leave you operating by natural and carnal and earthly thinking as opposed to spiritual thinking. That's why the Bible says to be carnal mind, to be carnal, to be earthly in your thinking is death to you. Because the carnal mind came from death. Adam didn't have a carnal mind until he talked with the devil. Before the devil came in the form of the serpent and talked with this man, he didn't have no carnal mind. He saw himself according to what God had told him. Yes. And he had that mindset until he entertained somebody he had no business talking to. Yes. The person he had authority over and supposed to cast down and put him out of the garden. Instead had a conversation, or she had a conversation with. And that conversation created questions. You ain't never doubted my word before. My word has always been good enough before. My word has always been what you needed until you heard him. And now all of a sudden, you got all these questions about what I've got to say. My Lord. You ain't never had these questions before. I walked with you in the cool of the day. The voice of the Lord walked with him in the cool of the day. And whatever God said was good enough for him. He didn't have no issues. He didn't have no problems with it. But now here comes this new person who has come through the garden, talking a new word, a new language. And now all of a sudden, the voice that he used to commune and fellowship is not good enough anymore. Carnal. Carnal. You raise your child, you teach that child a certain way of living, and then that child is good until they get around 12 and 13 and start hearing other voices and start hearing other messages and hearing other points of view. And now all of a sudden this child that you used to could get up and lay their clothes out on the bed, and that child would put them clothes on with no problem. Now that child say, Mama, I don't want to wear that, Daddy. I need some this, I need that. Why? Because they're developing now their own mind. And a lot of times their mind is not in line. That's what happens when you begin to entertain other voices. That's why some parents say, I don't want to send my child to school. I'm going to homeschool my child. Now, I'm not saying that's what you have to do, but I'm just trying to get you to understand why some parents will say, I don't want to send my child to public school. I'm going to homeschool them because I want to keep them from the other voices. Yes, sir. Yes. Because the longer I can keep you away from the other voices, the longer I can keep you where you're supposed to be. The more you are exposed to other voices, the harder it's going to be to keep you where you're supposed to be. The more other voices you hear, the harder it's going to be for you to believe God for your healing. The more people you talk to, sometimes telling other people about your sickness is the worst thing you can do. Because rather than them be a strength to you, they become a hindrance to you. Rather than being an encouragement, I'm talking about Christian people, and rather than being an encouragement to you, they speak doubt and unbelief to you. And so when you went to them, they were supposed to be a blessing, but now they turn out to be a curse. They turn out to be worse than a doctor. Oh, you know you need to use wisdom. You know such and such. Mama had this and grandmama and mama. Wait a minute, I didn't expect to hear that from you. I thought you would encourage me in the Lord. Yes. I thought you would say, I'm standing with you. I'm praying with you. We're going to fight this battle together. I'm not going to let this overcome. But instead, you went a carnal route. The Bible says a carnal mind is death.
Jesus.
It's death. It came from death. Therefore, it can only produce death. Okay, the second issue about the carnal mind is that when a Christian continues to walk in a carnal state of mind, it leads them to death. It leads them to death. If you get a negative report, and if you don't check that report will lead you to destruction. It will lead. Anytime carnality is not checked, reined in, here brought down, the Bible says bring every thought, every imagination. Anytime it's not brought down, that thing is going to cause problems in your life. Whether it's your marriage, you can be on the job, and somebody can be on the job with you, and they start telling you stuff. Well, I wouldn't do this and that. If you don't check that, that carnality will bring a hindrance in your house later on down the line. Right. Because carnality, the Bible says, is death. It came from death. Therefore, it can only produce death. The mindset of this world came from death. It didn't come from God. So now God is calling us to come out of the world's way of thinking and to begin to think along his lines, think my way. See yourself my way. Understand life my way and not the carnal way, because once again, the carnal mind is going to bring you to death. All right, let me show you something next. They're still dealing with this mindset. Let's go to the book of, stay in Romans, but let's go down to verse number 12. Book of Romans, 8th chapter. Go down to verse number 12. Like I said, you guys, I want you to read this chapter later, the whole chapter, but for the sake of time, we're going to just drop down to verse number 12 and 13. All right, verse number 12 says, therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. Paul says you don't owe your flesh nothing. You don't owe your flesh anything. Your flesh is not your friend. What is my flesh? Your flesh, what he's talking about right here, is your desires, your earthly desires, your earthly longings, your earthly pursuits. Let me give you try to help you identify the flesh. That the desire, have you ever been on a fast or something like that, and you, let's say you was eating salad only, you ate salad, and you just ate a salad, but yet there is a desire, there is a longing, there is a craving that you have, even though you already ate something. But what that desire has not been satisfied. That's the nature of the flesh. Because you're not hungry. And if you're not careful, and if you're not strong, that longing, that desire will lean on you, and you'll give in to it. Yes. Now, this desire that I'm talking about is not something that you can see. It's not something that you can touch. But it's real. Yes. And it will lean on you. If you're not careful, and cause you to go and do something you really didn't want to do. Yes. He says, you don't owe that nothing. It would be wonderful if God took it away from us. It would be so much easier to serve God if he just took that longing away from us. Now, he has given us tools on how to rein it in and bring it under control, but it's still there. Well, for example, fasting and prayer is a good way to bring under your flesh. The Bible teaches us that by fasting and prayer, we can get control over the flesh. We can bind the flesh up. We can put a rope, if you will, put a bit in the flesh so that we can control the flesh. So the Bible lets us know we can control the flesh, but even with controlling the flesh, it's still there. And the Bible says you don't owe it nothing. So I live in a body that does not like me. I live in a body that is working against me. Yes. When I say me, I'm talking about the real me, my spirit, because I'm a spirit being. Yes. My flesh is the enemy of my spirit, which I am. I live in a body that does not want to be governed by the Spirit. It is a body that wants to have its way. That want to do what it want to do, when it want to do it, how it want to do it, when it want to do it. My body wants to have its way. That's the flesh. And he says, Corey, be careful. You don't owe your flesh nothing. Do not allow your flesh to control you. Do not allow your flesh to manipulate you. You don't owe it nothing.
Thank you.
Now listen to this. I'm going to take you a little bit deeper.